Thank you, Dan. No costume changes in here. Fylde and Orient both in their first choice colours. Fylde in all white, Leyton Orient in all red. And let's run you through the team news. 2 changes for Fylde from that defeat here 8 days ago to Salford. Alan Birch comes in at right back and Nick Horton on the left-hand side of midfield. Jay Lynch is the Fylde goalkeeper. Alan Birch, Jordan Tunnicliffe, Neil Byrne and Zane Francis Angola are back 4. Danny Phillips-Kirk, Andy Bond, Ryan Crosdale and Nick Horton in midfield. Alex Reid and Danny Rowe are the front 2 for the Coasters, with their bench Russell Griffiths, James Hardy, Tom Crawford, Timmy Odesina and Tom Brewitt. For Leyton Orient, unchanged for the game against Braintree, their last game in the National League that saw them up as champions. Dean Brill is the Orient goalkeeper. Jamie Turley, Daniel Happert, Josh Coulson and Joe Widdowson in a back 4. Joby McAnuff skippers the side along with Marvin Ekpiteta, Craig Clay and James Brophy in midfield. Macaulay Bonne and Josh Corrimer are the front 2. And for the Orient bench, that's Sam Sargent, Sam Ling, Jordan Maguire-Drew, Matt Harold and Charlie Lee. Andrew Madley is our referee, representing the West Riding FA, and he's just bringing the 2 captains together. Neil Byrne, the skipper of Fylde, and the aforementioned Joby McAnuff of Leyton Orient to sort out the coin toss. Our commentary position is betwixt and between the 2 sets of supporters for this final. In the North Stand to our left, 3,000 or so AFC Fylde supporters who travelled down from the northwest coast, and then the mass ranks of the Orient Massive who've come all the way up from East London, 23,000 or so, filling not just the rest of the North Stand immediately to our right, but all around, sweeping around that corner into the West End away to our right, with our commentary position behind the 2 technical areas and behind the tunnel. And we're ready for the off, and Leyton Orient will start us off in this FA Trophy final on Talksport 2, kicking from right to left, so they'll be attacking the East Stand end. And as Dan rightly said, some Chertsey Town and Cray Valley fans have stayed behind to watch this second game of the afternoon. Arguably more Cray Valley by proportion than Chertsey Town. I think the Chertsey Town fans might have gone off to start celebrations early, and who can blame them? They've won the FA Bars. Who wins the trophy? Well, we're underway, and straight away the ball is thumped forward downfield by Josh Coulson for Leyton Orient, and a free kick has been won down the left hand side, and a chance for Joby McAnuff to swing an early ball into the Fylde box. David Connolly.
Well, there's a crunching challenge there from Ryan Crosdale or Fylde on Craig Clay, so this is, as you say, early opportunity for Joby McAnuff. Got a lovely right foot.
Over 700 career appearances. He's rolled it short down the left hand side of the box, and it's picked up for Orient down that right hand side by Josh Corrimer. Gives it back to McAnuff, a diagonal ball into the box. Ball's headed down to the far post, and it's toe poked away in the nick of time by Jordan Tunnicliffe for AFC Fylde, and drifts out on the far side of the field for a Leyton Orient throw. 0-0 then, and we're into the first couple of minutes of the FA Trophy final on Talksport 2. And the ball is thrown back to Dean Brill, the Orient keeper, joined as coach for the goalkeepers after leaving Colchester United a couple of years ago, and then ends up signing a 2-year extension February last year, and he's the number 1 choice for Justin Edinburgh.
Fantastic story that, isn't it? I mean, he was done playing until obviously Justin Edinburgh came in and said, look, can you still play? Well, I think so. Well, go on then, out you go, give it a go, and before you know it, he stuffs out of the coach's room and he's back in amongst the players.
Still only 33, Dean Brill. His long clearance downfield is picked out by Macaulay Bonne. Can't find an Orient teammate, and it's swept downfield for AFC Fylde, straight onto the head of Josh Coulson. Good firm header back into the Fylde half. Then it's Tunnicliffe heading it towards the halfway line. McAnuff in central midfield gets a piece of it, and then it's poked forward looking for James Brophy to ride the challenge, and he's been clipped, James Brophy, just ahead of the centre circle. So Leyton Orient have a free kick, which Joby McAnuff is going to take and look for an option. It's just to the right of centre, so he might try a little left-footed diagonal, asking Coulson actually to go up from centre half up to that left-hand corner of the penalty area, see if he can win the first ball, as McAnuff floats it in for Orient. Coulson is the target, headed strongly clear by Neil Byrne at the back for Fylde, and taken away down the left-hand side by Nick Horton. Horton has run out of ground though on that far side of the field, even though he tried to send it back to his defenders, and Orient have a throw right-hand side. 0-0, and we've played 2.5 minutes on Talksport 2 of the FA Trophy final.
Well, it's a good confident start here from Orient, dominating the ball. Obviously, Fylde giving away a couple of free kicks, just slightly slower to the ball at the minute. They're definitely on the front foot here, Orient.
Brophy, though, trying to wriggle into space, just took the ball out of play. So Zane Francis Angol, the left-back for AFC Fylde, former Tottenham Academy graduate, went to Motherwell some years ago as well. Francis Angol, fans of the Scottish Premiership should remember that name. Here's Josh Widdowson, the left-back for Orient, trying to send the ball down that left-hand side, looking for an option, but it's thumped away downfield for AFC Fylde by Jordan Tunnicliffe, and it goes all the way back to Dean Brill, away to our right-hand side. Only Colchester and Wycombe have won a non-league double of league and FA trophy. Colchester did it in 1992, Wycombe a year later, so it's been an awfully long time since a non-league side has been able to do the double. We saw a treble yesterday here at Wembley, a domestic treble for Manchester City's men. Chance for Orient to net a non-league double. For Fylde, it's all about erasing memories of what happened here 8 days ago when they missed out on promotion to Salford City. They've won a throw of Fylde, which is going to be for Arlen Birch to launch in, young 21, 22-year-old, having come in from the Burnley and Everton youth ranks. Made his professional debut this season. Good ball in field to Danny Rowe. First touch we've seen from him. Tries to clip it out to the inside left channel, but that's comfortably won back by Jamie Turley, and he's trying to release Josh Corrimer down the right-hand side. Strong run from James Brophy down the right-hand side of the penalty area for Leyton Orient. Just checks his run, works it back in field to McInniff. McInniff tries a drive, and a strong block in the midfield by Ryan Croasdale for AFC Fylde, but it is a throw to Orient, 0-0.
Yeah, a brilliant break there from Orient. Lovely little cut back to McInniff. Good first touch, and then Croasdale with a last-ditch tackle with the block. This is a confident, really confident start here from Orient.
Nick Horton, though, receives the ball just inside the Orient half, but shows too much of that to Josh Coulson. The ball goes up to Corrimer down the inside left channel. He's brought down by Jordan Tunnicliffe, and a free kick will be awarded to Leyton Orient, about 20 yards inside Fylde territory. 0-0 on Talksport 2 in the FA Trophy final.
Well, there's a lot of fouls here from Fylde. They just can't get close enough to Orient. They're moving the ball so quickly. They're just a half a yard off them.
McInniff to take it again for Leyton Orient. Massed ranks at the edge of the 18-yard box as it's swung in right-footed by McInniff. Headed down and then helped out of the penalty area for Fylde by Arlen Birch. And there's two players gone down, a clash of heads inside the penalty area. Two players lying flat on the deck. Trying to see who it is that's gone down. I think it's Coulson for Leyton Orient, and I'm really not sure about who it is. It may well
Neil
be
Byrne, I think.
Yeah, may well be Neil Byrne that's down, but Coulson's certainly in better shape. Byrne is lying flat on his back, and this is worrying for Dave Chandler and AFC Fylde.
Well, it's just a clash of heads, isn't there? Neil Byrne gets there first, but just carries himself into Josh Coulson. There is a clash of heads. Fingers crossed Neil Byrne's all right, but he is prone on his back.
Well, of course, in this day and age where we are becoming increasingly careful of head injuries, concussion injuries, and so on and so forth, the utmost care is being currently taken with Neil Byrne, still lying flat on his back, arms stretched out to the side, and the Fylde physios are very carefully making sure of his condition. The St John's ambulance have brought out a stretcher with a brace just in case it's required. Meantime, some of the Leyton Orient players have come over to this near side to get some instructions from Justin Edinburgh. An extraordinary tale Leyton Orient has been. 11 managers they had in 2 to 3 seasons under Francesco Becchetti. Relegation out of the Football League, How can you have 11 managers in 3 years? It's just extraordinary. But Justin Edinburgh will know that he'll be playing League 2 football as manager of the O's next season. And there's a good deal of concern here for Neil Byrne, although he may be able to get to his feet here. Just see what the St John's ambulance in attendance are doing in that penalty area. It's 0-0 in the FA Trophy final here on Talksport 2 between AFC Fylde and Leyton Orient. There will be a significant delay at the end of this first half. It says 8 minutes on the watch, but there'll be plenty to add on at the end. And all the rest of the players who are not involved in this are just meandering around the centre of the field. Difficult for them not to lose focus, David Connolly, at this point, whilst we're making sure that Neil Byrne is okay.
It certainly is. I mean, fingers crossed he's going to be
he's sitting
right
up now, at the very least, but there's a lot of concern to make sure that he's in a good state of health to even get up onto his feet, never mind continue the match. And he's on it. Well, you can hear the applause. Neil Byrne's got back to his feet, and he's going to be led off the field unaided, so maybe he's going to make a return here. We'll soon find out, but better to be safe than sorry. And sometimes it's not just about the first injury. Sometimes there can be a secondary injury that comes not long after that can exacerbate what happened the first time around, David Connolly.
Well, we saw that, didn't we, Jan Vertonghen? So there's not going to be any chances taken here.
Let's get down to the touchline. What can you see, Ian Abrahams?
Well, the fourth official has gone over to Neil Byrne to get him off the pitch. Currently there's 4 medical staff around him who are obviously asking if he's okay. 3 of them are from Fylde, and 2 of them look like they're just from Wembley. By the way, last week here in the final against Salford, Jordan Tunnicliffe had a really bad head injury as well, ended up playing with a sort of Terry Butcher style headband. So 2 weeks in a row now that Fylde have had this sort of injury to one of the defenders.
Thank you, Moose. We're back underway as we approach 10 minutes of the FA Trophy final, and Neil Byrne still speaking to the fourth official as Orient, with this temporary man advantage, have possession with Joe Widdowson. Down the left hand side, it's rolled back into his own half to be taken up by Daniel Happert. McAnuff comes deep to pick up the ball. Seems to be a lot of arm waving down beneath us as Neil Byrne protests that he is okay to continue, but really it's not his decision. Meantime, Nick Horton coming forward for AFC Fylde. He's challenged and the ball's won back by Leyton Orient inside their own half, and just turned round the corner neatly by Craig Clay, and Macaulay Bond giving chase down the right, but Francis Angol puts it out of play. Fylde still down to 10 men here, still decision to be made about whether Neil Byrne is fit to continue, David Connolly. Yeah,
and this discussion is ongoing. I think they're, I don't know if they're preventing Neil Byrne going back on. I don't know. He doesn't look particularly happy, but looking at Leyton Orient here, it's actually a back 3 they're playing. They're not playing with a 4, so slightly different formation.
Widdowson for Leyton Orient, left-hand corner of the penalty area. Back to McAnuff. Orient still with his man advantage for the moment. Widdowson once again gives it back to McAnuff. And Byrne is trudging away back to the bench. I'm not sure whether he's going to be allowed to continue here. He's now in heated conversation with the medical staff right down beneath us. We'll get back down to Moose in just a moment, but the ball's still in play.
Well, this is a hard one to call, because, you know, if you're the player and you feel all right, you know, you just hope that obviously they need to trust you, that you're telling the truth. Look, I'm fine. And sometimes you need to take it out of the player's hands. I know that, but this is a final. You'd want to play if it's at all possible. You wouldn't want to come off, certainly. It looks like he is, though.
They're going to call, I think they've called Tom Brewitt back to the bench. Meantime, Dean Brill for Orient stumped the ball downfield. Good flick on by Macaulay Bond, helped back into the Orient half, and then there's a clash where Craig Clay is caught on the halfway line. Orient have a free kick, and the change is going to come. Let's get down to the touchline. Ian Abrahams.
Here's Tom Brewitt, who is coming on for Neil Byrne. I have to say, it was ridiculous, Dan. I mean, the conversation, it wasn't a conversation, it wasn't even a debate, it was an argument between Byrne, 2 of the medical people from Fylde, and the fourth official and another medical man. And it went on for like 2 or 3 minutes, arms out from Byrne, shaking his head. He didn't want to come off. In the end, they said, listen, mate, you cannot carry on. And that, I think, is the right decision.
Yes, again, it's impossible not to be too careful in this day and age where everyone's become very, very wary of the problems that can be caused by concussion injuries. And whilst I have sympathy for for Byrne for going off. The letter of the law, I guess, has been adhered to. And Tom Brewitt, a Liverpudlian who joined the ranks at Liverpool before heading to Middlesbrough, he's on in Byrne's place and has taken his position at the heart of the AFC Fylde defence. So we're back to 11 against 11, David Connolly.
Yeah, we certainly are. I just wonder, though, if that means a change of shape. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know if they're going to match up Leyton Orient now. Looks like they might have gone to a back three similar to Orient, obviously with Neil Byrne going off. Maybe they feel they're not quite good enough with the two centre-halves and they need another one in there.
We'll see how play settles down. Meantime, Fylde trying to come forward. Alex Reid trying to slide in inside the area and get to the ball. Oh, and there's a bit of a flashpoint between Alex Reid and Josh Coulson. Coulson was not happy on Alex Reid, the Fylde forward, going in to try and win the ball off Dean Brill. Thankfully, it was a flashpoint and nothing more.
Yeah, look, I think he's entitled to go for that. Obviously, he has gone in late on the goalkeeper, but he's barely caught him.
Brill will send the ball downfield for Orient, right-footed, over the head of Macaulay Bonn, and out of play for a throw to AFC Fylde. Two real sharpshooters on the pitch this afternoon. Danny Rowe with 27 goals for the season, Bonn with 23. I'm sure the lads at Sky Bet will have had those two as heavily backed favourites to get the opening goal here at Wembley Stadium in the FA Trophy final this afternoon. Coulson at the back for Orient, being put under pressure by Alex Reid. Has to put the ball out of play for a Fylde throw down by the corner flag as they attack down the right-hand side. 0-0. It's going to be taken, is it, by Arlen Birch? It is, the young right back coming into the side today. Gets the ball back right-hand side. He's faced up by Widdowson. Whips the ball into the near post, and it almost found its way through to Alex Reid, but the offside flag had gone up against the striker, and instead it's a free kick right on the 6-yard line to Leyton Orient. 0-0 on Talksport 2 in the FA Trophy final. Nearly a quarter of an hour played.
Well, brilliant ball in there, wasn't it, from Birch across the 6-yard. But just looking at the back line now for Fylde, it looks like Jordan Tunnicliffe have now moved over from the right side centre half to the left side, and Tom Brewitt's now operating on the right, so a slight reshuffle for the
ball headed forward by Ryan Croasdale for 5, but it won't find Alex Reid, who's on loan at Fylde from Stevenage. Former Aston Villa and Walsall youth product, Alex Reid. Had a couple of goals at Stevenage before he came to the Fylde coast. And he's trying to latch onto a ball headed forward, but that's strongly headed clear at the back for Leyton Orient. Comes back into the Fylde midfield where it's tidied up by Danny Philliskirk. Out to Zane Francis Angol, left back for AFC Fylde, who trots over the halfway line. Back in field it goes to Philliskirk. Now Croasdale in the centre circle for Fylde. Good ball out to this near side, the right where Brewitt, the recently introduced substitute, comes forward. Wicked ball across the face of goal, and Rowe chops it over the bar, trying to apply his right foot around the 6-yard line. Lovely whip centre from the substitute Tom Brewitt, and Rowe couldn't apply the finish. It's 0-0.
Oh, it's a brilliant ball in from Brewitt. I think it's Andy Bond actually that gets on the end of it. It just bounces in front of him. Tricky, hard to control and keep down. He's gone with actually the sole of his foot, trying to stab it into the ground. Maybe he would have been better going with his laces here. Yeah, it's an awkward finish, awkward height. Just bounced in front, but brilliant ball in.
0-0 on Talksport 2 in the FA Trophy final. Last year's final that we brought you here on Talksport 2 went all the way to penalties when Brackley Town won it against Bromley. 5-4 on pens after 1-1 post extra time. 0-0 here between two sides from the National League this season, although Leyton Orient will be playing League 2 football next season. And they're defending now as forward comes AFC Fylde down the right-hand side. It was whipped in with pace by Nick Horton, who's popped up on the right-hand side. Headed forward by Philliskirk. Reid tries to get it to the edge of the area, but it's pumped away at the back by Marvin Ekpiteta. Good turn by Nick Horton, tries to slide in Danny Rowe. Rowe, right-hand side of the area, plays the ball across the face and got pushed away by Dean Brill to keep it away from Alex Reid.
Oh, terrific little turn from Horton.
But here is Horton inside the area, left-hand side, drives it goalwards into the side netting. A few supporters in front of us thought that was in from Nick Horton, but it just slammed into the side netting. But Fylde starting to show their mettle here. It's 0-0.
They certainly are. They look really menacing in that final third. Horton with a terrific little turn, spin away, diagonal run from Rowe, super ball in across the 6-yard box, spilled by Brill, but in the end nothing came of it. But they looked really, really bright in that final third, in and around the box.
It's non-league finals day on Talksport 2. Already we brought you Chertsey Town beating Cray Valley by 3-1 in the FA Vars after extra time for their first ever FA Vars trophy. And now Leyton Orient going for a League and Cup double. 0-0 here with AFC Fylde. And the ball is in midfield with James Brophy. Now Craig Clay rides a couple of challenges. Breaks for Brophy again for Orient. Driving forward, he was caught by Crosdale. That's a free kick to Leyton Orient about 35 yards out. Maybe too far out for a direct strike on goal. We shall have to wait and see. 0-0.
Well, he's lucky, I think, here, Crosdale, because he had a few challenges, gone to ground a couple of times, made some fouls. No yellow produced here. Andrew Madley, obviously used to operating in the Championship, even refed a couple of games in the Premier League, so they've got a top ref here, but I think he's fortunate there, he's not gone in the book.
He's destined for the very top, is Andrew Madley. Without question. He's just administering the old vanishing spray, which is a couple of yards inside the 18-yard line. File players now arranging the wall behind that. It's a 5-man wall. Macaulay Bonn is also standing at the end of that wall. It's Joby McAnuff from 30 yards, gets it over the wall and way over the bar. Goal kick to AFC Fylde. 0-0 on Talksport 2.
Yeah, I mean, it was an unusual run-up. He barely ran, actually. You wouldn't call it a run-up, maybe a walk-up. Very slowly addressed the ball, and a horrible finish, really. Hine Hampson over the bar.
Leyton Orient were last here at Wembley in the 2014 League One playoff final when they lost to Steve Evans Rotherham United. Kevin Lisby, who's been on the pitch already this afternoon for Cray Valley, played for Leyton Orient that day, and that was really the beginning of the demise of Leyton Orient as a football league club. But of course they're back next year. Slice clearance from Joe Widdowson for Orient at the back, picked up in midfield by Danny Rowe, just ahead of the halfway line for Fylde. Diagonal ball looking to pick out Horton. It's a lovely ball, headed clear by Ekpiteta, drops at the edge of the area. Alex Reid with a lovely half volley, left-footed drive, and it's tipped round the post by Brill for a Fylde corner. 0-0.
Oh, it's a brilliant move again. They just come alive in and around the box. Lovely little ball from Rowe on the diagonal, trying to find Horton, who's been a real live wire. A poor defensive header, but Reid is onto it on a flash.
Short corner is only half cleared, and in fact the offside flag has gone up. That's a waste of a corner routine for AFC Fylde. Free kick to Orient. 0-0.
What a strike though from Reid. Alex Reid, a wonderful left foot finish. It looked like it's going destined for the top corner.
He did catch it sweetly, Alex Reid.
They're so lively though, that front two with Horton in behind. He's got real quality, Horton, you can see that. Bright and breezy, he's always on the move, making those runs in behind, comes off the feet, he's got good ball control, can turn on a sixpence.
I wonder whether Stevenage will make use of Alex Reid next year. He had loans last year as well in the National League with Wrexham and Solihull Moors. After a couple early in the campaign for Stevenage. It's 0-0 on Talksport 2. It's the FA Trophy final. 21 minutes played at Wembley. And Leyton Orient keep the ball in play but give up possession. And now Reid trying to get in behind Ekpiteta down the left-hand side for AFC Fylde. It's put out to play by Ekpiteta, but a quickly taken throw finds Danny Philliskirk. Now here's Horton again, looking to try a drive from the left-hand corner of the box. It's cleared away. Well kept going by Brewitt, the substitute. Offside flag goes up against Arlen Birch. Not looking along the line. And the flag instantly raised by the assistant on this near side. Justin Edinburgh took over at Orient in November 2017 after leaving Northampton Town in the August of that year. Lost the first 4 games of the season with the Cobblers. Took that decision to go down a step. Ball played downfield by Orient, looking to get Macaulay Bonn away. It'll drop for McAnuff in midfield, just ahead of the centre circle. Looks to play it right for Jamie Turley. Turley with an early ball into the box for Orient, cleared away by Jordan Tunnicliffe. Only comes out as far as McAnuff, who tried to slide it down the right-hand side of the box for Brophy, but Fylde win it back, and they're trying to release Danny Rowe in behind on the right-hand side. But that was well watched by both Daniel Happer and the keeper as well, Dean Brill. brought away by Coulson, intercepted by Arlen Birch, and now the ball sent forward by Croasdale, looking to get Horton away, but Ekpiteta at the back, calmly done, headed downfield looking for Macaulay Bond to get a piece of it for Orient, but it's worked back to the AFC Fylde keeper Jay Lynch, who you were talking about before the game with Dan Windle. David Connolly is one that a number of clubs higher up the leagues are having a look at.
Well, certainly not very often that you have a goalkeeper out of contract, kept so many clean sheets.
Here's Nick Horton, tried to play a through ball to Alex Reid, finds him at the second time of asking at the edge of the area, but a weak left-footed shot, very comfortable save for Dean Brill, stays 0-0.
Yeah, but the chief architect, Nick Horton, what a lovely ball. I mean, he looked wide to the right and then reversed it on the inside, a no-look pass. He's so bright and inventive, just to pick out the runner Reid. It was absolutely brilliant. Superb vision, but Reid with the finish. But the pass was just absolutely brilliant. Finish was soft, tame, straight at Brill goal. What a waste. But you can just see the formation here of Fylde. Look, there's that back three now. With Francis Angol playing the left-sided centre-half. You've got Andy Bond, got that defensive role going up and down as a wing-back on the left, and obviously Arlen Birch on the right. So they don't have any natural width. It's got to come from those wing-backs.
Dave Chandler making that change after the injury. Saw Neil Byrne, the skipper, go off with that concussion injury after a clash of heads inside the AFC Fylde penalty area. It's 0-0 on Talksport 2, the FA Trophy final between Leyton Orient and AFC Fylde. Brophy for Orient, gets to 25 yards out and tries to drive, and plunging low to his left, Jay Lynch makes a comfortable save. 0-0.
Yeah, it's worth a crack, but it's got to take something special from that sort of distance to beat Lynch. Ducked inside onto his left foot. Brophy, he's got a lovely left foot, isn't he? Aimed though at the near post, might be better going across goal to the far. But this is a really impressive opening stage here from Fylde. Very confident.
Ekpiteta trying to roll it down the right-hand side, asking Josh Kurama to pick up the loose ends, but again, it's gone out of play for a Fylde throw. 0-0.
I mean, they've looked better actually since Neil Byrne went off, I got to say. I mean, you don't want to say that, but the change of formation I think has suited them, because they've certainly dominated the ball, and with Horton now in behind the front two, they're causing Orient all sorts of problems.
Arlen Birch from right back comes in field and sends the ball with his weaker left foot up to halfway, headed back by Ekpiteta, but that won't find its way through to a red-shirted Orient player. Instead it comes out to one of the now three centre-halves for Leyton Orient, Tom Brewitt.
Well, now you can see when Brewitt's on the ball, the right side centre-half, you've got the two centre-forwards who split quite wide, then you're looking at Horton just trying to get in between them, cause all sorts of problems.
Ball floated down the far right, looking for Alex Reid, but well watched by Daniel Happert. Leyton Orient youth, who only had one loan away from the club to Histon, signed pro forms back in October 2017. Daniel Happert, he's only 20.
Oh, he's a good player. I know a lot. There's always scouts down at Brisbane Road looking at him. He's got a really bright future.
Well, Danny Rowe has just found Nick Horton, and the fleet-footed midfielder goes to ground just at the edge of the D, but the ball was won cleanly by James Brophy, says Andrew Madley. Croasdale steps in to try and win it back for Fylde. Instead, it's sent forward by Ekpiteta, but it's won back by the white-shirted men of AFC Fylde.
They just can't get hold of the ball at the minute, Orient. They win it back, they give it away within one or two passes, and Fylde are just building that pressure.
Talksport 2 at non-league finals day. Ryan Croasdale for AFC Fylde, 0-0. Good ball for Danny Rowe, coming in field, thought about a drive from 30 yards out, checks onto his left a second time, and then it's taken off his toe by Josh Korima, back helping out his defenders, and now Korima trying to launch a counter-attack for the O's. Outpacing Phyllis Kirk on the right. Francis Angol comes to close him down, out from centre-half, and he puts the ball out of play, but that's a good 60-70 yard run from Josh Korima to earn a throw for his team deep in Fylde territory. 0-0.
Well, it's the first time really we've seen them deep in Fylde territory. Haven't been there often enough. You can hear the Orient fans here willing their side to just offer a little bit more. But Horton again, he's such a live wire. I mean, Brophy done really well to get back at him there, because when he gets his eyes up, he can spot a pass, I tell you.
0-0 on Talksport 2. Orient coming forward with James Brophy, squares it infield, might be a chance to Craig Clay to send it in for Joe Widdowson. Widdowson keeps it in play on this near touchline, but in doing so allowed Fylde to slide in and get it clear. But it is a throw to Orient, 10 yards from the corner flag, left hand side, that Joe Widdowson is going to take. Quick throw for Craig Clay. Clay steps away from his opposite number, Crosdale. Rolls it into Josh Corrimer. Corrimer, good ball, just to the right-hand side, and Joby McInniff. McInniff finds it on the right-hand side for Jamie Turley. Cleared away by AFC Fylde. Now they look long to release Danny Rowe in behind Happer. He's got in behind Happer, but the angle is wide. Lobs it into the area looking for Reed. Cleared away almost straight back to Danny Rowe, but Happer got his foot in that time to get it clear.
What a brilliant ball that was. A 60-70 yard raking pass into Rowe.
Oh, and in steps Brewitt for AFC Fylde. One of the centre halves finds Nick Horton. Horton rolls it to the right wing position where Danny Rowe waits. Lovely ball into the middle, headed away by Coulson under pressure, with I think Horton flying in trying to pick up the bits and pieces in front of goal. And a free kick's been awarded for a challenge on the far side of the field, and Fylde can now load the box with players. It's 0-0. We are nearly at the half-hour mark in the FA Trophy final, and Fylde are enjoying themselves here.
They have been absolutely fantastic. I mean, Rowe, look, he's not going to run away from you, but he's got real quality on the ball. A couple of times now he's tried to pick out Reed. That was a superb ball into the box clear, but they're just half a yard quicker to everything. Again, you can hear the crowd, the Orient fans, you know, they know this isn't good enough. Got to be careful here.
Yeah, getting on for 30,000 inside Wembley Stadium at the moment. The vast majority are Orient fans, but they're fairly quiet. It's Fylde who are forcing the issue here, and they have this free kick midway point of the Orient half, out to the left hand side. Horton to drift it in, looking for the centre halves to come forward, and that's a good plunge clear from Dean Brill as Tunnicliffe was close. It's driven back into the area by Arlen Birch, cleared away by Orient, now trying to launch a counter-attack. Crosdale trying to prevent that counter-attack, putting Widdowson under pressure, but the Orient left-back manages to roll it to Daniel Happer. Left-footed ball downfield looking for Corrimer. Francis Angle leaves it for Brewitt, and then it's sent forward for Danny Rowe. Just inside the Orient half again, he spots a run, this time of Horton trying to go through the inside left channel, dealt with comfortably enough by Jamie Turley, but then Ryan Crosdale will just let the ball drift into the corner flag, hits the corner flag, doesn't go for a corner, or has it? It has gone for a corner. The assistant on this near side has indicated it, and Fylde have another set piece here on Talksport 2, 0-0.
Again, really fantastic play from Fylde. I mean, they pick up the second ball, they're just hungrier, they're quicker, they've got the bit between the teeth. You can tell, I mean, they were poor last week, obviously they were blown away by Salford. They've come back here with a point to prove. They've started ever so well. Can they capitalise now? When you're on top, can you get a goal? Can you make all this possession play and all these attacks count? They need to convert one of these chances.
Well, Nick Horton will take this corner kick away to our right. Right-footed outswinger to come from the former Salford man. In it goes to around the 6-yard box. It's headed out by Turley. No Fylde player anywhere near him, and he got plenty of distance on the headed clearance, but everybody bar the Fylde keeper inside the Orient half.
It was a really good ball in, wasn't it? Right along the 6-yard line.
Now it's Ryan Crosdale looking for St. Francis Angol, the Fylde left back. Oh, he's almost dispossessed on the halfway line. A hairy moment then. So he just elected to go all the way back to his keeper, Jay Lynch.
He's got to be careful now because he's actually playing left side centre half. He gives it away. Orient are straight at him. I mean, he's not playing left back, so it's a little bit different. Normally, if you play left back, you've got two centre halves who could help you out. Doesn't have that luxury. He's got to take care on the ball.
Crosdale sends the ball down the right. Neat flick on from Danny Rowe, and Josh Coulson decides just to put it out of play for a Fylde throw, 0-0.
I mean, he's really intelligent, isn't he, Rowe? He knows exactly what's around him. He can get his head up. He's got supervision. He can pick a pass, you know. Look, he's not going to run away from you, but he's got other attributes that make him a really outstanding centre forward.
Horton, lovely clip ball into the centre. Oh, and just went all the way through to the keeper, Dean Brill. I think it was Philliskirk on that far side trying to get closest. Don't know, it was actually Andy Bond who tried to get in on that far stick, coming forward from that left wing back position, but the ball swerved away from him and into the arms of Dean Brill, the Leyton Orient keeper. 0-0, Talksport 2 at the FA Trophy final. We played 32 minutes. Brill's goal kick downfield, hooked back towards the halfway line by Ryan Crosdale, but that's going to drift out to play for a throw to the O's in their right back position. Going to be taken by Marvin Ekpiteta, joined January of last year from East Thurrock. 6'4" tall as well. Very tall for a right-sided defender. And he's being forced to go back and collect a ball under pressure from Alex Reid down that left-hand side, and they've both gone to ground. Referee hasn't blown his whistle, and Reed comes up first with the ball and wins a throw for Fylde.
Really good refereeing, I've got to say, because most refs would have certainly blown there, but there wasn't a foul and both went to ground. Reed kept it alive. Andy Madley, excellent.
0-0 on Talksport 2 if you're just tuning into our FA Trophy final coverage. 33 minutes gone. Here comes Brophy for Orient down the left-hand side. Crosses to around the penalty spot, but Francis Angol there just to get the ball clear with Corrimer lurking.
Yeah, terrific recovery there. Just came across, left side of centre off, ended up having to come and play central. Good clearance because Birch wasn't going to catch him there. The three centre halves, look, they stayed in the zone, all within 5-10 yards of each other. Someone's got to come out and engage the ball.
Saw that from Newport County the other week in the first leg against Mansfield, that the three centre halves didn't really play the width of the 18-yard box. They were basically playing the width of the D. They were that close to one another.
Well, the danger is then that you can't get out and press the ball.
Corrimer, good skill. Left-hand corner of the penalty area. Rolls it down to the left-hand side of Macaulay Bonne. Bonne tries to hit a cross in. He's won a corner. Off Pruitt, the substitute. Orient have a corner away to our left, 0-0.
Well, he hit Pruitt, I know that, straight in the head. Straight out for a corner when they've barely been in the Fylde half, I got to say. But they've got good height here, set pieces. Happy, as you say, he's tall. He must be, 6'4", 5 at least.
So McAnuff, who takes all the set pieces, the skipper for Leyton Orient, is going to be in charge of this corner kick. Only Macaulay Bonne for Orient in the 6-yard box. Everybody else making runs from the edge of the area. Good header clear from Francis Angol at the back for Fylde, as those red shirts came thundering in from the edge of the 18-yard box.
Well, he's the smallest player in there. What a header, though. Terrific.
One back by Danny Rowe inside his own half for Fylde, the goal machine. Gets it out to the right, Narland Birch. Birch tried to pass it along the deck looking for Andy Bond, who'd come across to this near side the right, but it's out of play. Danny Rowe's goal record's mental. 35 goals in his first season, 2014-15, 31 in his second, 48 the third season, 24 last year, 23 this.
Is that all? 23 this?
Still not as many as you.
It's not good enough, is it? But not only that, look, I tell you what, his hold-up play is outstanding. I've been so impressed with him so far.
Well, he'll be piling forward now because Fylde have won themselves a throw a couple of yards from the corner flag, right-hand side, as they attack that end away to our right, the west end, as we commentate from behind the dugouts, behind the tunnel, halfway up the north stand here at Wembley Stadium. Thrown in by Arlen Birch. Nick Horton. He's already looked very tricky customer in these opening minutes for Fylde. Whips the ball into the far post. Couldn't find either Alex Reed or Andy Bond, who were in the box. It just went 2 yards the wrong side of them and out of play on the far side for an Orient throw, 0-0.
I mean, if you give Horton the ball, he will create something. He'll find a way. He got it there from a throw and he had his back to play, got turned around really quickly, then he faced his defender up, shifted it, great ball in the box. Now, what I would say is, why is Rowe out wide? If I was him, I'd stay in the box. Just let Horton, create something, a little bit of magic, and you stay in the box.
Horton tries to flick it on for Alex Reed. Orient clear the ball, but don't quite make the halfway line. There's a high boot from Phyllis Kirk on Macaulay Bonne, and Orient have themselves a free kick. Horton's a bit of a goal getter as well. He was at Bolton as a youth player, Nick Horton, and then moved on to Chorley, where last season he scored 13 goals in 25 appearances from midfield, and that led to his move to Salford, and he came to Fylde mid-season from Salford.
He looks ideal for this role, in behind the front too, just a chief creator, getting on the ball, making things happen, picking out those runs. He's been very impressive so far.
Now Josh Corrimer trying to roll the ball to the edge of the area. Brophy loses out, drops for Corrimer again, edge of the box. Fylde players going to ground, not trying to contact with a challenge, and then a ball whips in from the right-hand side, comfortably into the bread basket of Jay Lynch, the Fylde goalkeeper, who fires it downfield. Nice wrestling reference for you there. See, I'm down with the kids. Joe Widdowson down the left-hand side finds Josh Corrimer 30 yards out. He's going to try a speculative effort. It's over the bar, but worth a shy. If you don't buy a ticket, you don't win the raffle. Josh Corrimer, 0-0.
Absolutely, he's worth a crack. He's a good 30 yards out there. You can see what he's aiming for, that far corner. Just couldn't quite keep it down, got over it. He had a little look up, spotted the far post was free.
Loads more live football to come for you over the course of the summer. on the Talksport network. The 3 playoff finals here at Wembley next Saturday, Sunday and Monday. League 2, League 1 and then the Championship in that order get their day potentially in the sunshine, but there will be a winner. Tranmere against Newport, Charlton Sunderland and Aston Villa against Derby. All those games live, nowhere else. We'll bring you all 3 playoff games live on the Talksport network. And then you've got the Nations League with England out in Portugal playing the Netherlands in that semi-final, and the Women's World Cup across the Talksport network over the summer as well from France. We have commentary games including England and Scotland games with Sam Matterface and Faye Carruthers and Claire Rafferty, part of our team, bringing you the very best commentary on the Women's World Cup. 0-0 here at Wembley in the FA Trophy final. Fylde really snapping into the challenges to try and win the ball back, and they've snapped it a bit too hard there as far as Danny Rowe's concerned, conceding a free kick bang on the halfway line to Leyton Orient, who can now send the ball into the box. We're coming up on 39 minutes played, 0-0.
Centre forward's challenge out, wasn't it? Look, Rowe, just stay out of the way, will you? Stay up top. He's going to have to come back and do some defending now, because as you say, McAnuff is just going to flight this in on the diagonal, looking for one of those centre halves.
Just over the halfway line, this free kick. McAnuff hands on hips. You can get a roll of line though under each arm there. Clips it to the right hand corner of the penalty area. Good header clear for AFC Fylde. Won't drop for Horton though by the centre circle. Instead it's spread out to this near side, the Orient left, and Josh Corrimer thought about making a run down the left hand side, but instead he comes in field, plays a 1-2, tries a drive from 30 yards out and lifts it over the bar. Good approach play from him and his strike partner Macaulay Bond, but Corrimer couldn't match it with a finish. 0-0.
Oh, it's a quality little 1-2 here. Received it out wide, Corrimer drove inside, little give and go. Again, aiming for that far corner. Couldn't quite keep it down, got it wrong. But he's looked bright, I've got to say. He's looked really bright when he's got on the ball. Macaulay Bond's been quiet though, hasn't he?
Yes, for a guy who's top scorer. Not had as many touches of the ball as I'm sure he would like. Free kick's been given for Daniel Happard, just pushing down on the shoulders of Danny Rowe. So a chance for Fylde with a free kick here, almost at the midway point of the Leyton Orient half, and it's only a yard or two in from this near touch line. And Nick Horton, who's looked quality in these early stages for the Coasters, with a chance to whip a ball in. Orient holding their line at the edge of the 18-yard box. Man-to-man marking from them. The delivery from Horton isn't the best. It does come to the edge of the area where it's sent goalwards, but comfortably claimed underneath his crossbar by Dean Brill. I've done it again, commentator's curse. Not the best delivery that Nick Horton would have wanted.
No, but I don't know whether he's trying something different there, maybe to roll it along the ground. I mean, look, they do have height, Fylde, but I don't think they're as big as Orient, so that might have been his thinking, just to roll it along the ground, get something, little flick round the corner maybe.
Back it goes to Dean Brill, who came to the Luton Town Academy. Headed away at the back by Jordan Tunnicliffe for AFC Fylde in their all-white shirts in this FA Trophy final. Reed trying to hold the ball up inside the Orient half, but it's won back by the O's. Ball almost gets stuck under Marvin Ekpiteta's feet, but he controlled it well enough in the end. Corrimer trying to turn his man inside the Fylde half, skips away from a challenge from Andy Bond and keeps his run going. Corrimer, right hand corner of the penalty area. Turley's on the overlap, but he goes in field and tries an ambitious left-footed effort, gets it all wrong, and it almost hit the corner flag. Josh Corrimer, again, good approach play though from him and real willing work. 0-0.
Yeah, as you say, he's working ever so hard. He's a one-man team at the minute, trying to make things happen. Ducked inside onto his left foot, again just trying to curl it away to that far corner, but got it horribly wrong.
Well, Dave Channell has already made a change tactically since Neil Byrne has gone off, and he's been asking one of the substitutes, Tom Crawford, to warm up. He might be making a second change before half time. We shall have to wait and see, because Crawford's out there on his own going through some warm-up exercises down beneath us. Meantime, Orient are in possession inside their own half. We've only got 2.5 minutes to the break here in this FA Trophy final first half on Talksport 2. Fylde trying to win the ball down the right-hand side of the box. Reed and Happer slide into a challenge. It breaks for Danny Rowe, right-hand corner of the box. Trying to work the angle for a shot maybe. Does hit a ball across the face of goal. It's put over the bar. Andy Bond at the far post couldn't apply the finish. I'm not sure whether that was Danny Rowe's intention to look for his teammate. I think he was shooting for goal, but it ended up snaking across the 6-yard box, but Bond couldn't finish at the far post. It stays 0-0.
Oh, what a chance this is. He's only, 4 yards out. Rowe works the angle really well, fakes across, little Cruyff turn, then drags a cross-come shot across the 6-yard box. Bond is following in. It's on his favoured left foot. He just got to keep it down. Gets it horribly wrong. Skies it over the bar. He hits the post in frustration. Not surprised. And look, if they do make a change, it wouldn't be because tactically things aren't working, because actually Fylde have been fantastic since the change. Maybe someone's struggling, I don't know. There might be a little injury here for Fylde.
Don't know whether we can go down to Ian Abrahams on the touchline. Moose, you got any info for us down there?
First bit of info, there'll be 3 added minutes, but the other bit of info, Dave Challen looks like a man chewing a wasp. He's really unhappy down here. Not only that chance by Bond, and also the fact maybe that Byrne didn't want to come off, just in general, he's not cutting a very happy figure.
And of course he wasn't a happy figure at all here 8 days ago when Fylde lost in that game you heard on Talksport 2 to Salford City. Here's Horton though for Fylde as they drive forward again through the inside left channel. Horton, strong run to the edge of the area, plays it in for Reed. Oh, he just couldn't get the ball out from under his feet and get the shot away with any power. Brill pounces on the ball in the Orient goal. Another great chance goes begging for Fylde. 0-0.
Again, who's the arc creator? Horton again, absolutely fantastic, driving into the box, a super little pick out, cut the ball back to Reed, one touch to set himself, but the finish is powder puff. It really is, and maybe that's what's frustrating Challoner. He knows they should have 1 or 2 goals by now. They haven't made the most of these opportunities because they're on the ropes here, Orient. They really are.
Leyton Orient 0, AFC Fylde 0 in the FA Trophy final here at Wembley Stadium, live on Talksport 2. Approaching half-time, as you heard the Moose say, would appear that there's going to be at least 3 minutes added on. Remember, had that long delay for Neil Byrne with that head injury that saw the centre-half come off for Fylde very early in the piece. Ball sent down the right-hand side and Horton being asked to give chase, and indeed the 3 minutes does go up on the board from the 4th official down beneath us at touchline level. Justin Edinburgh, suited and booted, tracksuit the preference for Dave Challoner, and he's at the edge of his technical area now, just clapping his hands and trying to exhort a little bit of extra effort towards the end of the half out of his Fylde players. It's a throw in to Leyton Orient, midway point of the Fylde half, down the Orient left. Joe Widdowson, a former West Ham United youth back in the day. He's 30 years of age now, never made a senior appearance for the Hammers, joined from Dagenham and Redbridge a couple of years ago. Big mop of dark hair, throws the ball infield to Josh Corrimer looking to slide the ball across the midfield. He's done that and found Joby McAnuff, who's sizing up a shot from 30 yards out and elects to play it down the right hand side of the box for Turley. Turley's cross is blocked at the near post by Andy Bond and out for a throw to Leyton Orient. 0-0.
Oh, terrific play there from Joby McAnuff. Received it square of the box, fake to shoot, duck back in onto his left, and a lovely little slip pass out wide to Turley, but the cross was blocked.
So the throw in is for Leyton Orient. 0-0 in stoppage time, but they make a complete Horlicks of that. It's gone out of play for an AFC Fylde throw down the right hand side as Turley couldn't receive the throw back to him, and Fylde can clear their lines.
Well, that was symptomatic, I think, of their performance in this first half. Wasteful in possession, haven't done enough, not enough care on the ball or quality. They've been second best here all over the park. The frustration, I think, for Challoner is that they haven't scored, because they've completely dominated this game. This is just the response that he would have wanted after that Salford performance.
But it stays 0-0. We're in those 3 minutes of added time now on Talksport 2 at the end of the first half of the FA Trophy final. And a throw in to Fylde, midway point of their own half. So Francis Angol comes across from left-sided centre half to take the throw in, looking for an option. Alex Reed is the target, takes the ball on his chest, tight to the touchline, clips it infield, but it'll just land at the feet of Josh Coulson, and the Orient centre half fires it forward. Good strong header down, and here come AFC Fylde on the counter. Lovely ball from Croasdale to release Danny Rowe down the right. Rowe across the face of goal. It's too far ahead of Alex Reed, from Danny Rowe. But again, a swift counter-attack almost brought dividends for AFC Fylde, but it stays goalless.
Oh, they're so dangerous at the minute, Fylde, but can they make one of these chances count? Super little ball out wide to Rowe, gets his head up. I think he's trying to pick Reed out here, but if he is, it's far too far ahead of him. Needs to give his strike partner a chance, and you can see, look, Challoner wheels away. He knows they've got to do better. Make one of these chances pay.
Goal kick for Dean Brill for Orient. Strikes it right-footed, and Andrew Madley brings the first half to a close. It may be goalless, but there's only one team that's really showing application and creating chances in this FA Trophy final so far, and that's AFC Fylde, who lost here 8 days ago to Salford in the National League playoff final. The champions of the National League, Leyton Orient, looking a little lacklustre, having not played since the 27th of April. How much that has got to do with it, we don't know. But at half-time, they'll probably be happiest with a scoreline that reads AFC Fylde 0, Leyton Orient 0. Thank you, Dan. Both teams out, and the officials are out as well. No sign of any immediate change at the start of this second half. We did see Tom Crawford warming up quite extensively for AFC Fylde towards the end of the half, as Andrew Madley comes out into the middle. There is, though, going to be a change for Leyton Orient, so let's get down to the touchline. Ian Abrahams, what's the detail?
Jordan Maguire-Drew is coming on for Jamie Turley. That's the half-time change for Leyton Orient. Now, I have had a word down in the tunnel about the Neil Burns situation. I spoke to the fourth official and asked him whether Burn was concussed, and he told me he believes he was. However, speaking to somebody in the tunnel as well to do with television, he just said to me, the player didn't think so. So who do you believe? The player, who said he wasn't concussed, or the medical staff and the officials who say he was?
Thank you, Moose. Well, the change has been made, and so off goes Jamie Turley, and Jordan Maguire-Drew, former Brighton and Hove Albion youth, never made an appearance for the Seagulls. He's had 5 loans out from the club, including Lincoln and Wrexham, but joined Orient this year, and he's on at the start of the second half for Leyton Orient in their all-red strip against AFC Fylde in their all-white strip. And straight away Marvin Ekpotato puts the ball out of play. The AFC Fylde lineup is Lynch in goal, Birch, Tunnicliffe, Brewitt, Francis Angol and Bond as kind of a back 5. Phyllis Kirk, Crosdale and Horton in midfield behind Reed and Rowe up front. Here is Danny Rowe. Early ball into the box, lovely delivery again. Joe Widdowson heads clear to the edge of the box. Crosdale tries to improvise an effort goalwards for Fylde. Maguire-Drew loses out, and Phyllis Kirk sends it out to the right-hand side, and Arlen Birch infield to Nick Horton. Fylde pressing early at the start of this second half on Talksport 2. Nick Horton drops his shoulder, gets into the area right-hand side, lovely run into the near post, and well held by Dean Brill in the Orient goal. 0-0.
Yeah, another excellent play from Horton. Drove into the box again. He's been so good, he really has. A real lovely ball, cut back, but the goalkeeper done ever so well there. Again, just before that row, another terrific cross. I guess he spends a lot of time outside the box, which is, don't get me wrong, it's good, but it's amazing he scored so many goals because he spends so much of his time actually building play. But look, I think, obviously Edinburgh, we spoke to the chairman, didn't we, just beforehand, Nigel Travis, saying that Edinburgh wears his heart on his sleeve, tells it how it is. He's very honest. I'm sure he would have torn a shred off his players at half-time. He's made the change. That tells a story itself. He's not too happy.
Yep.
Let's see if there's a response.
Well, just seeing how they're lined up now, Orient. Brill is the goalkeeper. Then you've got Ekpotato, Coulson, Happer and Widdowson across the back. McAnuff in central midfield with Clay and with Maguire-Drew. And then Macaulay Bonn and Josh Corrimer up front for the O's. And James Brophy out there as well, of course, to support from midfield. But here comes Zane Francis Angol down the left-hand side for AFC Fylde, who attacking the east end away to our left. Lovely ball in, but claimed at the far post by the Orient keeper Dean Brill, who bowls the ball out early, underarm to Craig Clay. Clay turns and spins, heads towards the halfway line, and lays it off for Joe Widdowson. Widdowson looks in field for the vastly experienced McAnuff, lays it off for Coulson, and now Ekpiteta gives it back to Josh Coulson. Spent a decade at Cambridge United, Josh Coulson. Long ball forward is picked up by the chest of Macaulay Bonne, and Corrimer runs onto the loose ball. Widdowson showing on his outside, left-hand side for Orient. Can't put a first-time cross in. Has to roll it back to Craig Clay. Clay plays into the feet of Maguire-Drew, 30 yards out with his back to goal. Clay once again looks for McAnuff, who's picked it up 30 yards out. Thought about a drive, and he was pushed over by Nick Horton. Here's a great chance for Leyton Orient. Free kick awarded to the O's, 25 yards out to the right of centre, 0-0.
Yeah, not for the first time. McAnuff just picks that ball up in that little pocket off the front. Fake to shoot again, just invited the challenge from Horton. He knows, he hangs his head, he bought into it, fake to shoot, and then he just gave him a little barge, sent him crashing to the turf. He's only about 6 or 7 yards outside the box here. It's really good right footed. It might be a lefty from this side.
3.5 minutes gone in the second half of the FA Trophy final.
Might be Maguire-Drew.
Live on Talksport 2. Well, Maguire-Drew's kind of parallel to the ball, rugby union style, preparing to take a left-footed effort. McAnuff's there too. There's a 4-man filed wall with Corrimer standing at the end of it, and Francis Angol trying to keep half an eye on him. Maguire-Drew directing operations before he strikes the ball. Up he steps, left-footed over the wall, and hits the post, and it's put behind for a corner kick. Well, the goalkeeper, Jay Lynch, just stood stock still and watched the free kick from Maguire-Drew smack the upright and come out. It's a corner to Orient, 0-0.
Oh, fantastic free kick. Up and over the wall, plenty of bend and curl. The goalkeeper absolutely rooted to the spot. Just came off the middle of the post though.
It's Maguire-Drew's corner to the far post. Oh, and the keeper stayed at home and flying in at the far post. A header is over the bar. It's a goal kick in the end. I think it was Daniel Happer at the far post there who got the effort in, but it was way over the bar. AFC Fylde survive, but suddenly Orient are creating chances. It's 0-0.
Well, I just wonder whether Happer was getting pulled here, but another magnificent ball here. Maguire-Drew aimed to the back post. Happer with the header just couldn't quite keep it down. I think he should have done better there. That was about 5 yards out, 6 yards out. It was a cute angle, but still, head it down, you've got a real chance of scoring.
Lynch will restart play with a goal kick for AFC Fylde. Looking for Danny Rowe on the far side of the field. Back it goes to the halfway line. Sent forward by Crosdale, and Reed's in behind. Onside, the angle's tight. Tries to drive goalwards, and it deflects into the side netting, and he's given us a goal kick to Leyton Orient. But suddenly Fylde were away inside the Orient box, 0-0.
Well, he's just on the last man here, Reed. Timed his run ever so well. It just took a bit of a big bounce, actually. Couldn't quite get the ball down and under control. Timed his run brilliantly. He's in behind, but he bounced up high, quite high. Couldn't quite get it down quickly enough. He's unlucky.
Goal kick driven downfield for Orient by Dean Brill. Headed back into the Orient half, and Reed is going to get there ahead of Ekpiteta down the left-hand side for AFC Fylde. Attacking the end away to our left. That's where the supporters are, in that corner, in the northeast corner of Wembley Stadium. About 3,000 or so of them, outnumbered significantly by nearly 20,000 by the Orient support that's come up the 20 miles or so from East London. Throw in for Andy Bond for Fylde. Horton teases it into the feet of Danny Rowe, left-hand corner of the penalty area, looking for someone to make a run. Rolls it into Alex Reed. He lays it off for Crosdale. First-time effort, 25 yards out, nowhere near the target. Goal kick to Orient once again. It's 0-0 on Talksport 2.
Well, terrific approach play though. Again, Rowe spending a lot of time outside the box, but still he's got that quality. Lovely roll ball into feet. Set back to Crosdale. Couldn't quite again keep that ball down, but their approach play in and around the penalty box has been superb.
Dave Challoner busy making notes on a little pad he's holding as he stands at the edge of the Fylde technical area. Justin Edinburgh, meantime, hands behind his back, looking on as his team have got some defending to do. Ekpiteta under pressure from Reed. Good turn from Marvin Ekpiteta. Got the better of Alex Reed, who was trying to outmuscle him. And a good ball through the centre of the field for Maguire-Drew. Out to the Orient left. Here's Joe Widdowson, almost level with the edge of the final penalty area. Comes in field, gives it back to Maguire-Drew. Now rolled down the left-hand side. Played back in field. Craig Clay looking for an option. Has to play it back to the skipper McAnuff. McAnuff under pressure from Horton. Has to turn away and feed it back out to the left-hand side. Widdowson, good run down the inside left channel. Plays it across the face of goal. Somehow it missed Macaulay Bonne with Francis Angol trying to put him off. That stays out of the Fylde goal, and in fact the flag's gone up for offside anyway. but they weren't to know that in the middle as the cross was fizzed in by Widdowson. 0-0 it stays.
Oh, it's a good run though from Widdowson, but he's got to look along the line. He's gone far too early. It's the right ball in between the wing back and the centre half for Fylde. Terrific ball across the 6-yard, but he just went fractionally early.
So it would be a free kick. Zane Francis Angol ended up in the net as he tried to defend that cross, not knowing that the offside flag had gone up behind him, and he's only just now picking himself up to his feet. Arrived in 2017, Zane Francis Angol, having had a couple of years playing for Kidderminster Harriers. In fact, there's quite a few players in this AFC Fylde squad who spent time at Kiddie until recently. Jordan Tunnicliffe another, and also Ryan Crosdale. In fact, he was a record fee, £50,000 when he signed from Kidderminster last summer, Ryan Crosdale. Ball's gone all the way through to Dean Brill in the Orient goal. So we played nearly 9 minutes of this second half of the FA Trophy final on non-league finals day here on Talksport 2. 0-0 between AFC Fylde and Leyton Orient, and here come Leyton Orient trying to burst through the middle. McInnes feels he was fouled. Nothing doing, says referee Andrew Madley, and Francis Angol looks to release Alex Reid down the left-hand side for Fylde, but Ekpiteta can just watch that ball drift out of play for a throw-in in his position, the right-back position for Leyton Orient. Orient fans, you can hear away to our right, just trying to reinvigorate their side, but after that free kick from Jordan Maguire-Drew that hit the post, there's not really been that sustained spell of pressure on the AFC Fylde goal, David Connolly. Here's Danny Rowe picking the ball up midway point of the Orient half for AFC Fylde. Neat ball infield to Horton, always looking to spin and turn and look for an option ahead of him. Plays a 1-2 with Alex Reid. Horton picks it up again 25 yards out, faced up by Brophy, tries to take it past him, but good foot in from James Brophy, and away he comes in possession for Leyton Orient. Gets up to halfway and clips a delightful ball out to the left hand side. Lovely touch from Maguire-Drew into the area left hand side, tries to take it inside his opponent, and that was brilliant defending at the back by Blewett. And somehow Brewitt gets it away for AFC Fylde when it looked for all the world that Maguire-Drew was going to get in on goal and try and score. Oh, he should have just pulled the trigger there, try to duck inside Brewitt, but it wasn't on to me. Favour your left side, go down the line, take him on, or at least get your shot off. Still 0-0 then in the FA Trophy final. Corrimer plays the ball up to Macaulay Bonn. Francis Angol tried to get it clear, but it's laid off once again by Bonn, the top scorer. Out to Brophy on the Orient right, looking to isolate Andy Bond. He's got beyond, and can he get to the ball before the byline? He can, and then Bond cuts back at him and toe pokes it out of play away to our right for an Orient corner, and the fans find their voice away to our right. 0-0. Brilliant from Brophy. They got to the byline, but he wants to get it onto his left foot. He actually could have delivered with his right, ducked back inside, but he's one inside a corner. This is much better though, isn't it, from Orient? Yeah. Well, Maguire-Drew again to deliver the set piece. It's deep to the far post. Headed goal, it's onto the post again from Happer. Sent back in from Craig Clay. Headed out to the edge of the 6-yard box. Bond can't get a piece of it, and Fylde just hack it downfield. And Widdowson will head it back to his goalkeeper Dean Brill, and the upright hit again in the second half by Leyton Orient. Well, Happer got up again, leaped highest. Brilliant ball in though again from Maguire-Drew. Absolutely fantastic. Flicked on by Bond, looking for Corrimer at the edge of the area. Headed up somewhat unconvincingly by Tunnicliffe. Corrimer out to the left-hand side for Leyton Orient. It's rolled back in field for Joby McInnes, who comes across to collect possession. 25 yards out, being held up by a defender. Checks back onto his right, thought about a shot. Lays it off instead for Maguire-Drew. Now there's an effort that's fizzed well wide in the end by Craig Clay, and that will be a goal kick to AFC Fylde away to our right-hand side. But that's much better from Orient, who couldn't have been much more average in that first half. They're much more up and at it, having had a flea in their ear from the manager at the break. And it was actually Ekpiteta's header that hit the frame of the goal. Happer was up there with him. So they've struck the frame twice in these opening 12 minutes of the second half of Leyton Orient. Well, what they're trying to do is just bypass some of the bigger Fylde players and aim for the rear post, the back post. Philliskirk that time was picking up Happer. I mean, that's a mismatch in itself. There's about a foot difference between them in height.
You fancy Orient in the air, certainly. They've got the beating of Fylde.
Marvin Ekpiteta just turns away from Alex Reid. Good ball up just inside the Fylde half for Josh Corrimer. Squares the ball left for Craig Clay. Good ball into the feet of Maguire Drew. He's been really busy since coming on. Lovely ball back into the box. Clay tries to improvise a finish with the outside of his right boot, and he goes way over the top. But again, Jordan Maguire Drew at the centre of all that's good about Orient in this second half. But Clay couldn't finish. 0-0.
Oh, some fantastic football here. I mean, he had runners either side. Maguire Drew, Widdowson on the left, Clay going through the middle. They just can't live with them at the minute, Fylde. This is a complete turnaround, it really is. Maguire Drew at the heart of everything. Look, he's wearing a number 10 shirt and he's playing like an archetypal number 10, pulling the strings everywhere.
Joined this year, had loans at clubs like Lincoln City and Wrexham during his time as a Brighton and Hove Albion player. Never made an appearance at the Amex. Remains to be seen whether the Amex will have a new manager before too long, in the shape of Graham Potter, of course. We brought you that story over the weekend on Talksport 2. As AFC Fylde win a free kick, Alex Reid went to ground, was challenged by Josh Coulson, and Andrew Madley gives the free kick to Fylde, 25 yards out to the left of centre. It's 0-0 on Talksport 2.
Well, this is a similar area to actually where Orient hit the post, now at the opposite end, but Coulson gone to ground, a little bit too aggressive there.
Only one man to take this free kick. It's Danny Rowe, who's already placed the ball down and taken his step back even before Andrew Madley's put the old shaving foam down and got the Orient players to stand behind it. A couple of yards inside the 18-yard line. Rowe waits for the referee's whistle for AFC Fylde. Steps up to the ball, right-footed, round the wall and in! Fantastic free kick from Danny Rowe. The goal machine for AFC Fylde gives the Coasters the lead. A sumptuous strike from their top scorer, Danny Rowe, makes it 28 for the season, but more importantly, makes it in this FA Trophy final. AFC Fylde 1, Leyton Orient 0. That was brilliant.
Well, what a free kick. Rowe's been absolutely brilliant, I've got to say. He hasn't really had a sight at goal up to this point. Outside the box, he's been fantastic. That time, again, the free kick is outside the box. He sizes it up, addresses the ball there. There's a big hole over the wall. The goalkeeper's got absolutely no chance. He barely moves for it. Up and over into that side corner. Brilliant.
That was a free kick that you wouldn't see being out of place in a Champions League final, let alone an FA Trophy final. Quite exquisite from Danny Rowe. And after that decent start to the second half from Justin Edinburgh's Leyton Orient, now they've got some serious questions to answer, the National League champions.
Well, look, certainly I think Fylde deserved a goal in the first half. It didn't come, but in this second, they've been second best, I've got to say. Orient have been brilliant. They've made one mistake, that free kick there, Coulson, too aggressive. They've been punished.
Let's go down to the touchline if we can have a chat with Talksport 2's Ian Abrahams, how the bench has responded to that Danny Rowe goal. Moose?
Well, for once I can tell you Dave Challoner was happy. Fist pumping, double fist pump. Everybody on the Fylde bench was up and punching the air. They feel they deserve that goal after their first half display. No panic yet on the Leyton Orient bench, I've got to say, but then we were told that by Alex Lawrence at half-time. This team don't panic.
Now here's Maguire Drew inside the area as the ball slid through by Craig Clay. Decent idea from Clay, but Jay Lynch swiftly off his line for AFC Fylde to gather it, and the Coasters come forward again. Little flick in field from Nick Horton trying to set Reid away, volleyed back towards the halfway line by Coulson, helped on by Macaulay Bonne. Maguire Drew sensibly helps it out across to the left, and Josh Corrimer gives it back to Macaulay Bonne, who's offside, wasn't looking along the line, couldn't really I suppose, but the flag went up and Fylde have a free kick. So we're just over an hour gone, 62 minutes played at Wembley Stadium on Talksport 2 in our second non-league final of the day. Chertsey won the FA Vase by 3-1 after extra time. Right now it's AFC Fylde 1, Leyton Orient 0. David Connolly's alongside me.
Well, you've got to say Orient probably feel slightly aggrieved here. I mean, they had the better of the second half. Maguire Drew has been outstanding since he's come on for Orient. they've hit the post, they've done everything actually but score, and Fylde have been fairly anomalous, but one chance, one goal, I mean, that's what Rowe gives you.
And here is Danny Rowe, trying to win possession inside the Orient half. He's done brilliantly, finds Nick Horton, who thought about trying a drive from 30 yards out, came off the backside of Ekpiteta and comes back to the halfway line, and then Francis Angol looks up, rolls it out to this near touchline. Andy Bond plays the ball into the feet of the goal scorer Rowe. And he has put the ball out of play for a throw-in.
And what do they say? That there might be 2 Rows that score today? There you go. 2 games, 2 Rows. What were the odds on that? Can we get Sandro on?
Let's get Sandro back on, please. Paging Sandro Di Michele of Sky Bet. AFC Fylde 1, Leyton Orient 0. 63.5 minutes gone on Talksport to Wembley Stadium on non-league finals day, and the Fylde supporters get to their feet to applaud their team as Justin Edinburgh gets into a bit of a conflab with his coaching staff. Here come Orient meantime. Brophy trying to chest the ball into his own path, right hand side, can't keep it in play. It ends up being a Fylde goal kick. 1-0 to the Coasters.
And we should qualify, the 2 Rows are who? For those listeners that weren't here.
Oh, I see what you mean. Well, of course we had Danny Rowe just now for AFC Fylde.
Quincy Rowe.
And Quincy Rowe with the third and quality strike from the back for Chertsey Town to seal the 3-1 victory. Many congratulations to the Curfews, who I imagine will be on it already, wherever they are.
They probably don't have a curfew tonight, do they?
Not a chance. Meantime, Orient, who look like they've been in celebration mode, having won the championship in that first half, a little bit flat-footed. They've been much better in the second half, but they're behind. They've got work to do here, Justin Edinburgh's men. Free kick clipped down the left-hand side. It will get away from Corrimer and Macaulay Bonne. Horton hooks the ball towards the halfway line. Great control from Danny Rowe. He's pressurised by Ekpiteta and by Corrimer. Still manages to win a throw for his team. Does he on the right-hand side? Actually, it's kept in play by Andy Bond, but he couldn't keep possession for Fylde. It's back with Orient. 1-0 Fylde.
Yeah, again, really good hold-up play. So strong, isn't he, Rowe? But what you do need around him is legs. He's not really going to run away from you, but he will hold the ball up. He's a focal point for the team that you can build off, but you certainly need runners in behind off him.
Craig Clay for Orient, wearing their all-red first-choice colours today. Fylde also in their first-choice strip of the all-white. Macaulay Bonne trying to control the ball, but it rebounded off his left calf, and suddenly Alex Reid is trying to get away. Was he shoved over by Daniel Happer? He was, says the assistant, who confirms it to Andrew Madley. And Fylde have a free kick out to the right-hand side, midway point of the Leyton Orient half of the field. It's 1-0 to Fylde on Talksport 2.
Yeah, clumsy challenge again, wasn't it? Similar to the free kick from Coulson that led to the goal. No need to make a challenge like that. He actually won the ball. I think it's the follow-through.
So the free kick will be 4 or 5 yards in from the right-hand touchline as the Orient players shuffle back into their shape. Danny Rowe may well take this free kick as well, although it's not going to be an effort on goal here on this occasion. It's going to be a ball worked into the box. Reed's up there. Also Jordan Tunnicliffe is up there from the back. Bond at the far post. Rowe standing over it. There's a 2-man wall. Slides it down the right-hand side of the box. It's fired into the near post and out behind for a corner kick. One off the training ground for AFC Fylde. Didn't quite come off, but they've won a corner and they lead 1-0.
Yeah, good invention. Fake to deliver the ball into the box row, then slid it down the line. I think it's for Horton. His cross was cut out, but nice and bright. Obviously they know, they just deliver the ball in the box. Orient have got good height. They need to do something inventive like this. This train, obviously the England set piece.
Here comes the corner from Horton for Fylde. Into the 6-yard box. It almost landed on the deck before anybody got a touch on it. And eventually it was Ekpiteta that got it away. Corrimer tries to win it inside the Fylde half, but a lovely ball clipped out to the right by Danny Rowe. Whipped in by Horton. Beyond Andy Bond, who is the furthest player forward in a white Fylde shirt. And it's out of play. And Leyton Orient will have themselves a throw-in. Meantime, there's a change. Let's get down to the touchline here at Wembley. Talksport 2's Ian Abrahams.
And it looks like they're really going for it now, Leyton Orient. They're taking off a defender, Daniel Happ, and they're bringing on Matt Harrold. So Justin Edinburgh clearly not happy, has clearly decided last game of the season, monster double, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah, that's 3 strikers up then for Leyton Orient. Matt Harrold, who was Crawley caretaker boss for a short while, I remember, back in 2017. This is his 14th club. Despite that, his first ever major honour, Matt Harrold, was this season winning the title with Leyton Orient. Had a couple of spells with his youth side Southend, been around the lower leagues, and he's on. Let's see, David Connolly, how that affects the shape of Leyton Orient with 3 strikers on now effectively. Here's Andy Bond for AFC Fylde, leading by a goal to 0 in the FA Trophy final on non-league finals day on Talksport. Talksport 2 rather. Hope you're enjoying our coverage. Alex Reid tries to turn it round the corner for Andy Bond, but Ekpiteta will protect the ball, so it goes out to play for a Orient goal kick. So how are they setting up by the looks of it, David Connolly?
I mean, Harold's going to go up top. Obviously, he's a physical presence that they'll aim for, try and win things off. Obviously, Maguire drew in behind. I just wonder whether maybe Josh Coroma's going to come outside to this right-hand side, provide the width on the right, and keep Macaulay Bonne up top with Harold.
Flick on by Harold, his first involvement from the long kick downfield, forces the ball to be put out of play by Tom Brewitt. So a throw to Leyton Orient, level with the penalty area down their left-hand side. Widdowson driving forward the left-back into the area, still going Widdowson, it's the post on the line, it's blocked away. Oh my goodness, Matt Harrold blocks a goal-bound shot from his own player, and somehow AFC Fylde survive after Widdowson had first hit the post.
Oh, wonderful play here from Widdowson, just dances into the box, unleashes a terrific left foot strike, cannons back off the post. I think it lands back at...
It's Maguire Drew had the effort.
Maguire Drew, yeah, and then Harold's right in the way, basically stops it going over the goal line. I mean, Harold's doing what all forwards do, and that's following in the shot from Widdowson, but actually he carries himself central of goal, blocks the goal bound. It's a sure goal for Orient.
Matt Harrold turned out to be AFC Fylde's best defender there, and it stays 1-0, and the AFC Fylde goal leading a charmed life. Meanwhile, at the other end, Alex Reid for Fylde, down by the corner flag on this near side to us, the Fylde left. Can't get the better of Josh Corrimer back defending, and Corrimer is playing on this right-hand side in a reshuffled Leyton Orient formation. But how about that? 3 times they've hit the post. Maguire Drew's free kick, Ekpiteta's header, and Joe Widdowson's left-footed daisy cutter. Stays 1-0 to AFC Fylde through Danny Rowe's wonderful free kick on the hour. And we've now got 20 minutes to play on Talksport 2 in the FA Trophy final. Widdowson, who's just hit the post with that effort, coming forward from left back again into the Fylde half, lays it off for Brophy, who's gone over to the left hand side for Leyton Orient with that switch with Corrimer.
Yeah, he's going to play left wing back. Widdowson's part of that back 3 now.
Now here's chip forward from Maguire Drew, slightly lazy clearance, not once but twice, by Bond, and Philliskirk for Fylde, but it will break for Nick Horton. Horton with a heavy touch, ball goes out to play. It's given us a Leyton Orient throw right down in front of our commentary position. We're behind the dugouts and the tunnel here at Wembley Stadium. Matt Harrold, good ball infield for Corrimer. Corrimer trying to bulldoze his way through some challenges, helped out by Harrold, but then Maguire Drew loses possession, and Horton spins away inside his own half, plays it behind Crowsdale, but he just got a toe in to keep it away from Matt Harrold.
I was just going to say, Horton's struggling here, you can tell. I mean, he looks leggy, he's tired, he's bent over. I don't know if he's maybe got cramp or... Yeah, I don't think he's pulled something, but he's obviously...
He's holding his left leg, isn't he? Left knee, left calf.
Bit of cramp, I'm sure.
Maybe. Less than 20 minutes to play, and a change is being hurriedly prepared down beneath us, and they're going to be bringing on Timmy Odesina in a moment. We'll just confirm whether that's going to happen. We'll go down to the touchline and Ian Abrahams momentarily, but meantime I think they're going to allow the throw to be taken. Odesina waits, hands on hips, waiting to be introduced, and finally the fourth official gets given the board, but the throw is going to be taken first. So Fylde will have to wait to make their change. They're a goal up. Maguire Drew tries to play a 1-2. It's one back for Fylde by Philliskirk. Long ball downfield, and there's a chance for a break on here. Croasdale down the right-hand side for Fylde. Lovely ball infield for Horton. He might be carrying an injury, but he's still helping his team out forward. Bond lays it off to Horton. Horton with a drive, well blocked by Coulson at the edge of his penalty area. Hooks away towards the halfway line. Bond tries to help it on for Harold. And then Bond again trying to win the ball, but that's good, comfortable defending by Brewitt this time for AFC Fylde.
It's really good football here from Fylde.
And now Horton plays a neat ball out to Danny Rowe into the area, left-hand side. Unselfish ball across the face of goal, just beyond Reed and beyond Croasdale, and behind for a corner because it took a deflection off an Orient leg on its way through. 1-0 Fylde.
Well, Horton might have cramped, but he's still quality. I tell you, he can pick a pass that not many others can out there. It's going to be a real shame if he comes off.
Well, let's get down to the touchline because AFC Fylde are making that change. Is it Horton, Ian Abrahams?
Yes, it is. It is Horton who comes off. He was good last week as well, I've got to be honest, Dance, when he came on as a substitute. He comes off today. He's clapping. He was ever since he got injured, they haven't stopped giving him the ball, which probably hasn't helped him. He's not limping too much, but he's coming off now. And as you say, Odesina is the man who's coming on. So that's two injury changes that Fylde manager Dave Channon have been forced into.
Thank you, Moose. Odesina on loan from Norwich for the season. He's a defender, really. So, a bit of a reshuffle for AFC Fylde. We'll see how that bears out, David Connolly, in a moment. But meantime, there's a corner kick, and of course, with Horton off the field, someone else has got to take it. So, Danny Rowe takes the corner duties. Deep to the far post, headed back by Tunnicliffe to the edge of the area. Croasdale works it back out to the Fylde right, and Danny Rowe. Or left-footed ball whipped to the far post. It's over the head of Tunnicliffe, and we'll go behind. And now as we get ready for the goal kick, we will see, in fact that's a throw-in that's been given. It hit the corner flag and went the wrong side, so a throw-in to Leyton Orient right down by the corner flag. And we'll now see how AFC Fylde line up with Odesina on for Horton. David Connolly.
Well, just looking at that free kick again, it was absolutely fantastic, wasn't it? I mean, Orient had one of their own that came off the post, but that one was superb, sweetly struck up and over the wall. I mean, Justin Edinburgh's, I think, maybe questioning either the wall or the goalkeeper. They didn't move. I don't know if the wall was the biggest, but it didn't jump. Up and over, fantastic technique.
Ball thumped downfield by Jordan Tunnicliffe and goes out off an Orient player for a Fylde throw. And Dave Channon hands the ball to St Francis Angol to take the throw for the Coasters, who lead by 1-0 with 15 minutes to play of the FA Trophy final here on Talksport 2. Harold is bundled over on the halfway line by Odesina, having just come on. Two number 18s in direct opposition there. Free kick to the red shirts of Leyton Orient. Now what's Joby McAnuff got left in terms of his experience and invention and nous to help the O's back into this FA Trophy final? He will take the free kick on the halfway line, drills it to the edge of the area. The heads go up, it's flicked off the head of Brewitt down the right-hand side and drops in the right-back position where Andy Bond just puts his foot through it. Lovely flick on from Danny Rowe. Andy Bond's onto the loose ball, but it's tidied up by Joe Widdowson and back to his keeper, Dean Brill. Stays 1-0 Fylde. Long ball downfield from Brill, straight onto the head of Jordan Tunnicliffe. But Ekpiteta can retrieve it for Leyton Orient, just shy of the halfway line. Diagonal ball up looking for Matt Harold, who's trying to win the bits and pieces, trying to outmuscle Brewitt. But Brewitt let the ball go beyond them, and it's just hooked away by Arlen Birch for a throw to Leyton Orient. Down the left-hand side, trying to turn the screw here, Leyton Orient.
They certainly are, but that change, I think, for Fylde is just, as you say, allowed a little rejig. So Odesina's gone into that back line now, playing as the left-sided centre-half. Francis Angol as the left wing-back, and then Andy Bond now is taking up that position that Horton had, just off the front, that number 10 role. It means Philliskirk and Croasdale are just anchoring the midfield.
Thoughts of David Connolly, our expert summariser here this afternoon on Talksport 2. Joby McAnuff striding forward. Little dummy at the edge of the area, clips the ball into the box. Maguire Drew with a right-footed first-time effort, tried to cushion it into the top corner, but it went the wrong side of the post, and that's a goal kick to AFC Fylde, which will mean a chance for another change for Justin Edinburgh. He's rolling the dice once again. Let's get down to the touchline as the change is being made by the O's. A goal down. Here's Talksport 2's Ian Abrahams.
And it's his last throw of the dice as well. Charlie Lee is coming on, and the man coming off is Joby McAnuff. What an absolute legend he's been for several clubs, Crystal Palace, formerly of my club West Ham, and latterly of course here at Leyton Orient. The skipper gives the armband to Charlie Lee, and Lee comes on for the last quarter of an hour.
Thank you, Moose. So Charlie Lee, 22 years of age, was a Tottenham Hotspur youth, never made any appearances for the North London club, ended up coming through the ranks at Peterborough United at the back end of the last decade. 32 now, not 22. I was going to say, it's older than that. 3 years at Stevenage before he came here. So he's on to pep up the Orient midfield. But they've only got 12 minutes, David Connolly, to get themselves level.
Well, this is going straight into the box, I think, from Dean Brill, aiming for the centre halves that have gone up. Can they win the first contact here? It's a bit short, though.
Headed on by Matt Harrold, one of the other Orient substitutes. It's thumped away by AFC Fylde. On the halfway line, Joe Widdowson retrieves it. Neat ball out to the left-hand side for Leyton Orient. Jordan Maguire-Drew has been really busy and involved since coming on at half-time for the O's, but just haven't managed to make anything count. They've hit the woodwork 3 times in this second period of Leyton Orient, but they still trail by a goal to nil, still working hard to try and get themselves level. Here's Coulson, the centre half, out to the Orient left, and Widdowson faced up by Alex Reid, who's dropping deeper and deeper to help out his midfielders to protect this 1-goal lead for the Coasters. Now Brophy down the left-hand side, he's spelled, and that's a free kick down the left-hand side, just outside the penalty area for Leyton Orient, and again they'll surely load the box here. 1-0 Fylde.
Well, Brewitt here comes in really strong, bundles over the Orient player. I wonder, did he get any of the ball? We'll have to see it again, but Andrew maybe hasn't got much wrong here today. He's had an excellent game, the referee, but no, he didn't get the ball there, Brewitt.
So Maguire-Drew and Koroma are the 2 Orient players standing over the ball down the left-hand side, just outside the penalty area. There's a 2-man Fylde wall inside the box guarding the near post.
Well, they've got a big team here, Orient.
Maguire-Drew with a left-footed delivery. It's headed up and over by Matt Harrold. He tried to climb, tried to apply the effort with a downward header, but he just couldn't get over the top of the ball. And it's another Fylde goal kick. Time ticks away. We head towards the last 10 minutes of the FA Trophy final, live on non-league finals day on Talksport 2, and Fylde still hold that slender 1-goal advantage.
Well, that looks like their best route to goal, these set pieces. They've got really good height, Orient.
So a goal kick for Jay Lynch for Fylde, just over the halfway line, headed back by Charlie Lee into the Fylde half. This time Philliskirk climbs highest. Orient again trying to send it forward. Harrold trying to cause problems, or a clash of heads with Odosina this time. Referee's way play on. Maguire-Drew tries an effort, but the whistle had gone because of the clash of heads between Matt Harrold and Timu Odosina. Odosina's already getting back onto his knees, not as badly injured as it seemed that...
I think Odosina's worried. He's saying straight away, I'm fine. He doesn't want to come off like his teammate.
No, indeed. So chance for players to take on some water whilst Odosina gets some treatment. Let's get down to Ian Abraham's touchline. What can you see for us down there, Moose?
Well, at the moment, I think Justin Edinburgh looks a worried man. He's pacing up and down. He's in his suit, looking like he's trying to encourage his players. But have they got anything left in the tank? You rightly say, Odosina did not want to be in the same boat as Neil Byrne earlier, who stayed down and subsequently had to come off. Dave Chandler looks very relaxed right now. He had an operation on his knee, he told me last week, a couple of weeks ago. He's not limping right now. He looks to be in really sprightly form.
Indeed, he's just taking a sip of water just ahead of the AFC Fylde dugout. Odosina is just about to come back on. We're back underway on Talksport 2 into the last 8 minutes of normal time. Fylde still leading by a goal to nil. Lovely barraging run from Alex Reid down the left-hand side. Bond's in the area looking for a cross. It's overhit, and Andy Bond won't retrieve that on the far side of the field. It will just be a Leyton Orient throw in their left-back position. Thrown back in by Joe Widdowson, who gets it back from Josh Coulson. Looks up Widdowson, hits a long Hail Mary downfield. Matt Harrold heads it infield. Macaulay Bond, the top scorer, gets onto it. Down by the corner flag, left-hand side. Harrold's gone into the area. Maguire-Drew's in there as well. And Macaulay Bond plays it infield. Looking for an option here. Swung across to Ekpiteta. Doesn't quite make its way through to him. Instead, it's Brophy. Back out on the right-hand side. Cuts in on his left foot. Brophy with an effort. Well held. Right in front of goal by Jay Lynch in the final goal. 1-0 to the Coasters.
Well, I think when you got Matt Harold, you can hit Hail Mary because he can answer your prayers. He wins everything in the air. Then it's a case of trying to get on that second ball. That time Macaulay Bond did it brilliantly. But I think Brophy will be disappointed with that finish. He cut inside from the right onto his favoured left. He's got to do a little bit better, a little bit more to test the goalie.
Attendance confirmed for non-league finals day. 42,962 here at Wembley Stadium. That's slightly down on the record attendance, which was 15,16. But that is up a good 10,000 on last year's attendance for non-league finals day. And here come Orient striding forward. It's a low left-footed drilled effort from the edge of the area from Josh Coromer, but a comfortable save once again for Jay Lynch. Didn't have to move, just plunged on top of the ball and holds onto it. Fylde hold on to their lead, and they've got 6.5 minutes plus added time to keep that lead to be FA Trophy winners.
I mean, look, if you're going to beat the National League Goalkeeper of the Year with 20 clean sheets, you've got to do better than that. I mean, far too often we've had shots that have been powder puff, haven't really tested Lynch in goal, haven't been either side of him. He's never had to work.
Well, we've got a AFC Fylde player receiving treatment for cramp, I think, inside his own penalty area. So once again, players coming over to this near touchline to have a quick drink. Ekpiteta and Rowe amongst that, just trying to see who the final player is that's getting treatment down there inside the box. Meantime, Jay Lynch is having a quick swig of water. So close then for AFC Fylde for gaining revenge for the disappointment they had here 8 days ago, surrendering so meekly in the end. It's actually Arlen Birch who's the man that's had cramp, just now getting to his feet, the young right back. Rolled his socks down Steve Claridge style, halfway down his calves, and he'll be back on in just a moment, having had his treatment, playing the rest of the game without shinnies. Mind you, these shin pads nowadays, David Connolly, they look like 10 pence pieces, the size of them.
Yeah, they do. I mean, a lot of players favour those very, very small ones until actually you have a serious injury. I mean, I played with someone who did break his leg, and after that he wore ones that ice hockey players wear, because once it's a bad injury, you don't want it to happen again.
Matt Harold has played restarts. Can't win the ball for Leyton Orient. It's pinballing around the Leyton Orient half of the field, but Fylde have won a free kick inside their own half now. And we tick round towards 5 minutes to go.
Well, they won't be in a rush here, will they, to take this? This is game management now from Fylde. Can they run the clock down, take as long as possible?
Well, we saw this at Fratton Park on Talksport 2 Thursday evening as Sunderland were the masters of playing out time to make it through to the League One playoff final here against Charlton a week today. 21 years on from Mickey Gray and all that. It's live on Talksport next Sunday, and you're going to be part of our commentary team that day, David.
I am, yeah, which I'm really excited about. Can't wait, but they actually wasted time from the kickoff. I've got to be honest, Sunderland. Not from the 80th or 85th right here. But it worked. Got to say, it did work.
Like a charm. Here's Maguire Drew for Orient. Running out of time here, trying to get themselves level. They're a goal down. Maguire Drew, lovely ball into the area. Harold with the header down and over the bar. Tried to out-muscle Odesina at the far post. He got there and he headed the ball down, but it smacked into the turf and over the bar for a Fylde goal kick. Stays 1-0 to Fylde.
Oh, it's a wonderful ball in, right along the 6-yard line. There's Harold using all his height and strength. Just gets over it. It bounces down, which carries it over the bar. When you're doing those downward headers, if you head it down too close to you, it does naturally bounce down and then up too high. You've got to head it down further away from you, ideally back where it came from, but he done neither there, Harold. But he has given them that aerial threat which they didn't really carry previously. Jay
Lynch, the Players' Player of the Year last season for AFC Fylde, and as you mentioned, 20 clean sheets this season for the Fylde goalkeeper. Sends it downfield. Francis Angol, the left back, finds Danny Rowe, whose goal separates the sides heading into these last 3 minutes plus stoppage time. Francis Angol for Fylde, plays a 1-2, gets inside the area, tries to find Crosdale with a drive. It's gone just wide. Keeper watched it all the way. Dean Brill, it went just to the left of his left glove and goes behind for a Leyton Orient goal kick. 1-0 to AFC Fylde.
Oh, lovely little give and go here. 1-2 between Francis Angol and Croasdale. Croasdale then got the return ball, left foot, difficult chance. Left-hand side of the box, but he's been excellent, Croasdale. He's had a really good game.
Well, they won the FA Vase 11 years ago, AFC Fylde, but that was in the days when they were differently known. Kirkham and Wesham was their name in those days. First chance they have to win a trophy with their new name of AFC Fylde, and they've only got 2 minutes plus added time to hold off the National League champions Leyton Orient, who are trying to win possession inside their own half. Brophy manages to guide the ball back to his keeper Dean Brill. Plays it out, first time of asking for Joe Widdowson, who hairs toward the halfway line. Squares it on the halfway line for Charlie Lee. Lee of Leyton Orient looks infield for Matt Harrold. Harrold tries to take a touch. He was fouled by Odesina. Free kick to Orient, midway point of the Fylde half. And the box will be very, very congested, you sense, from this free kick.
I wonder, is Brill going up or is he going to take this?
Well, he's in the centre circle, Dean Brill. That's as far as he's going for the moment. Maguire Drew hands out to his side saying, what's my option here? What do I do? Widdowson standing to the left of him. Maguire Drew teases it into the box. There's clashes in the penalty area. Ekpiteta went down claiming he was pushed, but in the end the referee just says play on as Jay Lynch pounces on the ball, and the Fylde fans just away to our left breathe a huge sigh of relief. They still lead 1-0. We're in the last minute of normal time on Talksport 2.
It looked like 6-1 there, maybe slightly offside as well. Ekpiteta didn't see too much in that. A really good claim though from Lynch, the goalkeeper, and I think the referee's had a brilliant game. I've got to say, he's refed it superbly.
You'll be seeing more of Andrew Madley in the Premier League next season. Of that there is little doubt.
Well, it's great that he's obviously, both these sides of a top referee here. Just makes the game so much better as well.
So 15 seconds of normal time to go. Reed getting in behind for Fylde into the area. The angle's tight, and Josh Coulson with a vital toe-end challenge to put it behind for a corner kick to Fylde away to our left-hand side, as the fourth official holds up 5 minutes of minimum stoppage time for AFC Fylde to hold out, and a few boos away to our immediate left. 5 minutes then.
Well, it could have been much worse, I've got to be honest. Forget the time, but Reed could have made it 2-0 there. Couldn't quite get the ball under control though. He's got to kill it. We've seen that earlier in the game. He didn't get that bouncing ball down early enough to get a strike at goal. Just allowed Coulson to get back and recover.
Ball's gone out of play as Fylde tried to protect it down by the corner flag. Orient have got to get it down the other end of the field, and pronto. Harrold trying to win a header on the halfway line. Can't quite get the better of Jordan Tunnicliffe, but Orient have it back on the halfway line. Good strong run from Craig Clay through the centre of the field. Rolls it to the right hand side of the box. Macaulay Bonn faced up by two, rolls it back 10 yards or so to Brophy. Brophy, then Clay tries to thread it through for Macaulay Bonn. It's cleared by Fylde, and there's a counter on. It's 3-on-3. It's Alex Reed down the left hand side, gets away from it. Potato clips the ball into the box, but Danny Rowe was never going to catch that, and Brill has had to go out, the Orient goalkeeper, and try and clear downfield. But what a challenge from Croasdale to make sure it only goes out for a throw to Orient. 1-0 Fylde.
Yeah, Croasdale's been quality. I mean, he just runs about 40 yards there to stop Brill clearing the ball, but I don't know what Reed is doing. I mean, Dave Challin's saying to him, just run into the corner. What are you doing? He actually goes for goal to deliver a cross. He could have killed about at least a minute there. Game management.
Saw the glory of a second goal there, I think, Alex Reed, and he might get in behind as Coulson makes an error. Reed drives it from inside the box but can't wrap his foot round it. It's a goal kick to Leyton Orient, and stays 1-0 to AFC Fylde, and Fylde desperately want to make a change, but they can't do so because Orient have taken the goal kick short to Joe Widdowson.
Well, Reed actually could have had another goal there. I mean, if I was on a training ground, I'd get him working on that first touch.
Oh, the ball's completely missed at the edge of the area from a Fylde player. I think it was Jordan Tunnicliffe who missed it, but there was nobody in a red shirt ready to pounce, and so through it goes to Jay Lynch, waiting on the touchline. Tom Crawford will be on. We thought he might be coming on before half-time with Dave Chandler in such a mood about the way his team were performing.
Well, Lynch might as well have just booted this out of play. Maybe that's what he's tried to do. It's worked.
And Ekpiteta can't indeed keep it in place, so the ball's out. Does this mean the change can be made? It will. So who's Crawford coming on for? Talksport 2's Ian Abrahams can tell us. Moose is no longer with us, but the change is being made, and the player coming off, it would appear to me to be Arlen Birch, who's coming off the right back, having just gone down a couple of moments or so ago with cramp. And so Tom Crawford is on to replace him on loan from Notts County. Former Chester youth, made a few appearances in the National League for them last season, and he's now got 2 minutes of added time to help his Fylde teammates over the line here at Wembley Stadium in the FA Trophy final. So close for the Coasters. What have Leyton Orient got left? It's going to be a throw meantime to AFC Fylde down the left hand side. Thrown in but headed away by Ekpiteta. Francis Angol puts his head on it, puts it out of play. It's a throw to Leyton Orient. Time ticks away. They've got to get on with it here. The East London side hurled in by Charlie Lee. Drops on the halfway line for Craig Clay. He's got Maguire-Drew in plenty of space in the inside left channel. Here come Leyton Orient. One last chance for them. Maguire-Drew across the face of goal, and it deflects straight into the path of Jay Lynch. Sliding in, Brewitt and Odesina tried to get something on it. They could have diverted it into their own net, but instead it finds their keeper, and he holds on gratefully.
Oh, they live to fight another day. Brewitt here with a little deflection, took it towards his goalkeeper. He's gone down with cramp, but I'm sure he's going to be okay. But here, Lynch, you might as well just kick it out of play as far as you can, but towards the touchline. That's a great kick.
We're dealing in seconds now here at Wembley Stadium. Fylde fans away to our left, prepare to celebrate. It's thrown in by Ekpiteta. Back to the Orient keeper, Dean Brill. Widdowson. Is there time left for Orient to create one last opportunity? Widdowson with a long ball downfield. Charlie Lee flicks the ball on into the area, but Jay Lynch comes out and claims just away from his 6-yard box. And that may well be that for AFC Fylde.
Well, he won the flick on. It was a brilliant little flick, but they just didn't have enough players gambling on the end of it, Orient.
Lynch bounces the ball once inside his 18-yard box for Fylde. Clears downfield. The referee blows for time, and AFC Fylde have redemption. 8 days ago they lost the National League final here, denied a place in League 2, but they've made up for that by winning the FA Trophy for the first time in their history, beating Leyton Orient by 1-0. A wonderful free kick from top scorer Danny Rowe in the second half separated the sides. Leyton Orient, well, they were denied by the woodwork 3 times in the second half, and a goal line clearance from their own man to deny Jordan Maguire-Drew, who'd earlier hit the post, having come on as a second half substitute. But Wembley's all about winners, and the winners this afternoon are AFC Fylde. They go back to the Northwest Coast with the FA Trophy under their arm. Full time here at Wembley Stadium. AFC Fylde 1, Leyton Orient 0.